Alright, I just got a news. Somebody emailed me this. Texted me that there is an active shooting in the headquarters of YouTube right here. So I am actually looking at a video right here. Let's listen.
I want to ask you about your reporting earlier. We have not confirmed this, but you are hearing. Tell me exactly what you're hearing from your security.
So this is live police.
So when we have situations like this,
so we will be watching channel after channel. This is the police respond to active shooter at YouTube headquarters. This is CBS News. CBS News. This is scary. Look, I'll show it to you.
They didn't verify it. They said that they had heard people talking about, and people meaning, officials on the ground talking about a white female as a potential shooter, which, and I completely agree with Ron, this would be extremely odd when you think about just over 98% are men. It doesn't rule it out, but it would be odd. But
I know, Brody.
From two independent sources. And the last thing that they said that was consistent was that this individual allegedly came into
where is this? California.
So again,
well, at least it's far from us. Oh my gosh,
it's not confirmed at all, but it's from two different people that I have on the ground who I rely on.
It is so sad.
Again,
I know.
we don't have that confirmed, but we
it's
are
crazy.
Hearing just from your sources on the ground about that. I'm seeing a tweet right now from Senator Dianne Feinstein of California saying, "My stomach sinks with yet another."
Oh my gosh, Cheryl, are you okay in there? This is crazy. Like, I am so affected. Like my
eyewitness account saying he was
ridiculous.
Carl Jr.
Look, I have goosebumps just thinking about it. You see the goosebumps?
He was getting a milkshake, and then a lady came in, and she was shot in the foot.
Oh,
and they loaded her into
I have to watch this the whole entire time.
There are a number of people who have suffered injuries specifically from this attack. What do you make of that?
Well, what it sounds like to me, and again, based on the limited information that we have right now, what it sounds like to me is this could very well have been somebody that is a former, maybe a current, former employee.
I feel like this should not be the normalcy. Shooting and all this. Listen, shooting and all this crazy things going on in this world. We need to pray. We need to put God back in our lives. And these people, I know they have different beliefs, shooting other people. I mean, I know their minds and their brains are all damaged and crazy, but I don't know where their faith is. I don't know where their faith in humanity and faith in God, and I don't know what they believe in. It's just crazy. And let's listen more.
Not been called to the scene. Apparently, they now have been called to the scene. So it seems that this situation could be changing for the worse. Oftentimes, when the coroner is called out to a facility where an active shooting has been reported, that does mean that people have died, and the coroner is being called to the scene. So we're waiting to hear how many victims could potentially be there and what the coroner finds when they get there. We do know as well that from Stanford Health and also from San Francisco General Hospital that both are receiving patients. At this point in time, the numbers are fluid there as well, both saying around 5 to a half dozen being taken to both of those hospitals. We don't know the extent of injuries at this point in time. We've been hearing from witnesses saying that the shooter did not walk into the facility, that the shooter was actually inside the building and started shooting. So we at this point don't know how many people have been shot, especially if that shooter was on site. An FBI official is also telling CBS News that they are in touch with local police, monitoring the situation. Again, actively involved in this point.
Yeah, every time I hear about the shooting, guys, like, I always get goosebumps. It's just so close to us. It's like we get so affected. And believe it or not, you would not know where, how, when would it be next. It's crazy. It's like in school system, in church, in hospitals, everywhere. I mean, now, actually, my husband just texted me about this. Yes, Brody, this is crazy, right? And I'm afraid when I go out. I know this should not stop our lives, but you really just don't know when you're in crowd, or even if you are not in the crowd. Like, that is just the headquarters of YouTube. And I am just starting to be, in a YouTube creator, so I'm actually like affected in what's really going on. But it's just crazy. All right, let's listen to some more.
Saying that in regards to the active shooter situation at YouTube headquarters, that San Bruno police, the chief there will be making a statement. It looks like in about 5 minutes or so now. So we're going to wait for that. In about 5 minutes, we'll be hearing from the police chief of San Bruno Police Department. There's now a media staging area there.
Yeah, so I know it's crazy, right? But seriously, even the authorities, even the police, even the president, I really don't think there's so, I don't know. For me, in my own little ways, I am still having goosebumps. It's crazy. In my own little way, all I can say is that I really, oh gosh, really, we have to put God back in the center of our lives. I don't know what to say, but it's really just crazy. What do you say? Like, what's your point of this one? Like, even the most powerful people can be attacked by this craziness. You know, even I really don't know. It's just why? How much negativity do you have? How much love is not given to you when you were growing up? Or even until now that you have to do all of this? Sad. Well, then again, I said this should not stop us because things like this would make you feel like you just want to be honed inside your house. But it should not be. I mean, it should not be. It should not be. But then again, what can we do though? Again, I'm gonna say I only have my own little way, which is really to just pray and protect our family and do some precautionary measures like then again, not going to crowded places, watch your surroundings. But then if things really happen, what would you do? Like these people right there in the headquarters right now, do you really think they expect this? Or we don't even know if it's just their co-workers doing all that. All right, again, credits to CBS News. I am live streaming CBS News right now, and let's go back to the live.
Now for a little over an hour at this point. What do you make of what we know right now?
It's been an hour.
Rena, the one piece of what seems to be encouraging news is we don't see the police or other people exfiltrating the building ducking for cover. We haven't heard additional shots, calls of shots fired. So with that, one would think that either this situation has stabilized.
Yeah, so for those who are just tuning in, there's a big news. I know this is going to be trending. I know this is going to come up on the YouTube community, YouTube creator, but I'm just going to tell you that things happened and this should not be acceptable. We should not be dealing with this normalcy. This should not be it. Our kids, like my heart is beating so fast right now, and I don't want to cry, but every time I think about things like this, I think about my own kids, like Delaney, like Alec. What kind of world are they gonna be growing in? like, since I have my kids, Delaney's 8 years old, how many mass shootings, how many craziness have we witnessed already? This is just not fair for our generation. Oh, I mean, I know, Brody, and I feel for your generation, our generation. What kind of, not even a country, because it also happened in other countries. What kind of world? Oh, thank you, Brody. I know, I know. I also told Delaney that you are our subscriber now, which is thank you very much. Y Really, what can we do? What can we do to save our world? What can we do to make life better? What can we do to protect our kids? Because right now, I don't know, like, there's a lot of questions, really, which saddens me. It really does saddens me, because I'm gonna repeat this. Only prayers is the only thing that I can think about right now. I know. Um, it's tough. It's really tough. Like, it's not normal to be really thinking that, oh, here's another news. Here's another news that is, oh, it's crazy because there's shooting again. It should not be again. There should not be a word to shooting again. Violence has never been acceptable. It should not be acceptable. And man, I mean, this shooting that's going on for an hour now. No news, of course. And when everything is done, they will just say, "Oh, it's over. Oh, it's not being solved." Or it's just like, what's the consequence? What are we gonna do as a people and as a country? It's tough. It's tough. Sadly, this is what the world has come. I know, Brody. I know. I mean, it's just unthinkable, really. Anyways, let's go back to the live coverage.
Right. This is a huge building. I don't know the amount of square feet, but this is a huge building. Police need to clear this building. There are still souls inside that building, and there's a shooter or shooters that are unaccounted for. So they're going to have to methodically come through that building to clear the building, try to the very best they can, safely and expeditiously. Make sure that they
Believe it or not, every time he or she mentions about there's an active shooter, a shooter, the word shooter makes me cringe. The word shooter makes me really feel like what is going on, and makes me have goosebumps. No. Should not be. No. Why are people so crazy and desperate to kill other people because they could not be satisfied of what they have? Believe it or not, maybe they're not that loved. Maybe they are, I don't know. If you're living in this country, believe it or not, the poorest of all the poor here in America could still survive, could still live, could still, I know, Brody, I'm sorry. It's just tough. I know, news everywhere, you would know, killings here, killings there. But when it involves mass shooting, and you don't even know what these people are going through in order for them to kill other people. So it's just tough. All right, let's listen again. This is again credits to CBS News, and thank you so much for. All right, let's look at this one. Snapchat. Oh, where is it? live
Well,
footage.
that was a woman who walked right by there, posting that video on Snapchat. She described what she saw, as we heard, a little panic in her voice, out of breath as well.
How
Of
do
course,
you go
hearing
back?
shots fired near your place of business is a terrifying thing. Other users also posting snaps showing their views of first responders who are on this scene. This is similar to what our Chopper 5 has been also showing you. People being escorted out right there on the sidewalk there at the bottom of your screen, but also a heavy police presence, law enforcement vehicles, several vans and police cars out there, and several law enforcement agencies all out there, including the ATF, trying to get a handle of what's going on. And those are the people there with their hands up as law enforcement are trying to get them out safely, while also making sure the shooter doesn't walk out of the scene without them knowing. So that's another task they have at hand, trying to get hundreds of people out of there while also trying to figure out who did all of this. Unconfirmed reports right now of possibly a female shooter and a male. That's what police may be looking for, but the police chief will have a lot more updated information. Right now, we do want to hear from them to kind of provide that official word, because of course that could help calm a lot of people's nerves in that area. This is a wider view. That's a massive complex there. 1,700 people in the YouTube headquarters alone, but several hundreds of people nearby at those busy offices on a Tuesday around 1 o'clock when a lot of people were outside. We saw in that Snapchat video they were going for their walk, possibly going out to lunch. There's a nearby shopping center where a lot of people go to eat, and around 1 o'clock that's likely what many people were doing. And this all occurred, we hear, from an outdoor cafe right there at the YouTube headquarters.
And of
it's
course,
just off the freeway.
Yeah, the big question for a lot of people right now is the injuries, the casualties from this situation, and that is the information we don't have, but we can say that there have been multiple injuries. A lot of folks sent to San Francisco General Hospital, no number, and we know that 4 or 5 people were sent via ambulance to Stanford Hospital to the south. So some of those emergency vehicles going north, some going south, and the fact that the coroner's van has been called to the scene indicates that there could have been at least one death in this shooting that occurred at about 1 p.m. We now have some reaction from Representative Jackie Spear, who represents the area in Congress. She tweeted, "I am shocked and saddened to hear about another mass shooting, this one at YouTube in my district. I am following developments and am sending..."
Yeah, now we can talk about now we can talk about other people and politics, and politicians gonna write into this. Of course they have something to say, but I don't know, have something to say, but what really can they do? Tough. All right, I have here, let me go look into another video. This is actually from ABC News. Let's take
the authorities in San Bruno
let's take a look at this one.
A news conference to deliver the latest details to us. It is a sign that at least they're comfortable enough moving away from the investigation to give us some information. So that may be a sign that things are starting to calm down, but nonetheless, no real confirmed information yet after a female gunman, we're told, opened fire at what may have been an outdoor patio party. Police and federal agents have all converged on YouTube's headquarters now in the San Francisco Bay Area, responding to what they called an active shooting in San Bruno. They did not immediately provide more information, but the city did say they took multiple 911 calls reporting gunfire, and that was certainly consistent with some of the eyewitness accounts that we had heard from the scene. The aerial pictures that we had seen, just a second, somebody is
timeline of what we know now and where we're at this point. So if you'll bear with me, information is coming in. It's obviously a very fluid situation, and we're doing the best we can to keep everybody up to date. So at 12:46 p.m. this afternoon, San Bruno Police Department received numerous 911 calls regarding gunshots at the YouTube campus located on Cherry Avenue in our city. San Bruno Police arrived on scene at 12:48 and immediately began a search for a possible shooter or suspect. Upon arrival, officers encountered numerous employees fleeing from the building. It was very chaotic, as you can imagine. We did encounter one victim with an apparent gunshot wound towards the front of the business as we arrived. Several minutes later, while conducting a search of the premises, officers located a second individual with a gunshot wound that appears to may have been self-inflicted. We are still working on confirming that. 2 additional victims.
This is an ABC News special report.
Yeah, it is a special
Hey, good afternoon.
report.
I'm Tom Yamas. We interrupt programming to bring you
Wow. Alrighty. Bye, Brody. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I am actually doing live videos right now. So my viewers all over the world, actually, yes, people from Australia, Philippines, Canada, and all others that are still asleep at this time. It's somewhat 6 o'clock early in the morning in other parts of the country, especially in the Philippines, now would wake up to this news and then would be shocked, I guess. So if you are tuning in and looking at Facebook and YouTube right now, we have active shooting going on in San Bruno, California, which is the headquarters of YouTube. And you know, as YouTube creators, we are actually not affected by this, but like emotionally are attached to the word YouTube. So the YouTube headquarters, we don't even know, is being attacked, or there's a shooter or shooters, and there are actually people who are injured and a possible death already, but we don't know how many. All right, now let's take a look at other let's see, watch live confirmation, police investigate active shooting, MSNBC. Okay, 227 views. Let's go back to CBS, because it looks like they have the most number of views right now. Okay, it's still alright. The police is saying something.
For gunshot related injuries, we have one subject who's deceased inside the building with a self-inflicted wound that at this time we believe to be the shooter, but we're still following up on that.
Okay, the shooter's dead.
Agencies have responded to assist. We're very grateful for everyone's help and assistance. We could not have responded and accomplished this without everybody's help. This is an active event and an active investigation, and numerous law enforcement personnel from numerous different local agencies are still conducting a search of the business just to make sure that that it is clear. We conducted a quick, immediate search of the premises when the first officers arrived, as pursuant to our active shooter protocol. And after that search was concluded, now we're going through with a methodical, slow search just to make sure that we cover all the bases. That's all I have for you at this time. We hope to have something a little later. I cannot give you, I cannot give you the time of the next press update, but we'll put that out as soon as we have that information. I'm sorry? No, I cannot confirm that.
No, it's not confirmed.
It's a female.
Female.
My understanding is that they've been transported and they're being treated for injuries that are treatable. We're hoping for the best, obviously.
Are there more people inside the building, or?
My understanding is the building has been evacuated. There are people in the immediate area. We're obviously trying to contact a large amount of people to try to identify and gain some information from witnesses at the scene. So you can imagine it's a monumental task with the number of employees that work inside the building.
Can you tell us about what weapon or weapons?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell us about what weapon or weapons were coming?
I don't have that information. I'm sorry.
Do you have police in San Bruno, the sheriff, who else is?
We have. I haven't taken inventory of all the agencies here. There are numerous agencies. We work well with our neighboring partners, and we're grateful that they're here. But there's a lot of them. Yeah, I want to clarify that we did locate a victim with what we believe to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's a female, but the investigation is still ongoing before we can put all the pieces together.
Is this person an ex-employee?
I don't have any information regarding that.
Are you looking for another shooter?
We are clearing the building and searching the building in a slow, methodical manner like we would do anyway. So we haven't eliminated that possibility, but we have no information to suggest that there's somebody else in there that we're looking for.
Where are the employees now? We saw them walking down the street.
Yeah, a lot of employees self-evacuated, as you can imagine. We've identified a group that we want to talk to, and we have staging areas where our detectives are reaching out to them and interviewing them. So we're trying to do as orderly as we can, but a lot of people, pretty hectic scenario. So it's a task.
How many people had to be evacuated?
That are there now besides the ones that you're identifying in question?
No, I believe, my understanding is that the building has been evacuated, so they're all outside of that building.
Okay, how many people are you talking about here?
Several hundred, a few hundred. I'm sorry, a few hundred. It was my understanding.
In what floor was she
I don't know.
And was a boyfriend there?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know the circumstances surrounding this,
And it was only
at
one
all.
shooter.
I don't want to eliminate any possibility. I don't know any of that for sure. Like I said, this is still active. We're still investigating this as I'm speaking to you. So there's a lot of things that I just simply don't know right now.
And it's shared that the shot started at the course.
I don't have that information. All right. I will try to get you an update as soon as we can once we know more. But I think that I'm giving you almost everything that we know at this point. So I appreciate it. Yeah, when we know, I don't want to give you a time because I may not have a lot for you. So when we can identify a time that's appropriate to come back and update you again, we'll do that immediately. We'll probably put that out through our media list and through social media.
Sorry, Chief. We understand from one employee that police had to borrow badges in order to access parts of the building. Did you have any trouble getting where you needed to go?
I don't have any information regarding that right now.
And is
there
a problem with security at YouTube? We've heard there's not even metal detectors now.
We're not even at that point yet. We're still trying to address the situation in front of us. Okay, I will get you some more information in a few minutes. I don't know. They've not been identified. So that's all I have. And again, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
And if you're just joining us, we've been listening to the Chief of Police of the San Bruno Police Department updating the news media on that shooting at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno. The biggest headline that came out of that news conference, the shooter, who is now deceased, is a female, which is very big news. I want to go to Pierre Thomas, our senior justice correspondent, who's been tracking the developments. And Pierre, the headline out of this, so far, one victim believed to be the shooter, dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but that shooter is a woman, something we have not seen in a very long time, definitely not in the last year, at some of these major shootings across the country.
That's exactly right, Tom. Police saying that they encountered...
All right. I meant to answer your question. Yes, there is, because it's still an active investigation, but the police was just telling earlier, the chief of police in San Bruno was just telling us that there's a self-inflicted female that is dead right now and believed to be the suspect. So it has been for a long time that in all this mass shootings and all that crazy stuff, all the other suspects are all male. This is the first time. It's actually a shock that this is the first time that the suspect is a female, and that she's actually dead. There's one person dead and a couple of them that are injured. So they don't even know if she is an employee or she's just visiting there. No, nobody knows, but obviously this lady is going through something. So that's from ABC News. Let's take a look at CBS Live. So let's see. Thank you so much for watching. Let's see what's going on
since
here.
1980. The information we know at this point is a lot of what you have been reporting there. We were listening to the press conference that the police chief, Ed Barini, gave in San Bruno just a short time ago, that numerous employees started streaming out the minute that his deputies got on scene there. His officers immediately encountered at least one victim as soon as they walked in the door. We now know that 3 other victims were also transported to the hospitals, a total of 4 victims. In our reporting earlier, we know that those victims have gone to at least 2 different hospitals in the San Francisco area, both the San Francisco General Hospital and Stanford Hospital, both saying that they were taking in victims. Of course, there could be others who were injured that were taken to those hospitals as well, so we're continuing to monitor those numbers as they come out. Now they are methodically, the officers, going through the office building to make sure that they get everybody out. Of course, when we looked into some of the research, there's about 1,700 employees at Yahoo. Of course, on any given day, that number could potentially fluctuate. So watching to see, of course, when the scene is actually cleared. It's still a very active event, and we're still waiting for information to come in. As the sheriff said, this is a very fluid situation, Rena.
Jamie Yukas, thank you so much, Jamie, for that fascinating take on those numbers. I'll take you now to our San Francisco station, KPIX, who's following this entire aftermath.
And they are currently going through. There's so many cubicles and offices and hallways that they have to search. So they are doing that now. That's quite a task at hand. At YouTube headquarters, an adjacent business is where he said they saw 2 other victims. So now they are going through all those buildings to make sure people get out safely and that there's no one else involved in this shooting.
All right, KPIX5's Andrea Borba is live at the scene right now. Has been speaking with some of the people that were inside of the building when the shooting broke out. Andrea, what can you tell us?
Well, I've spoken to 2 engineers who work at YouTube. One was in the center of the building when he believes that the gunfire broke out. He said he came outside, he thought it was a fire alarm, the fire alarms went off. He grabbed his skateboard and then he headed toward the cafeteria doors. And that's when he saw someone on the ground with a gunshot wound, what he believes to be a gunshot wound, and blood coming out of his stomach. The second engineer I spoke with was on that outdoor cafeteria patio area outside YouTube. And at first he said he thought it was balloons popping. And then he quickly realized that it was gunshots, and he ran inside. He held the door open for a few others and tried to open the door once again to get some people inside who were crouching underneath picnic tables outside. But there was a body in front of the door, and he could not do so. Now, just a few minutes ago, as you said, we wrapped up with the police chief here in San Bruno, Ed Barberini. The calls initially came in about 12:44 this afternoon. San Bruno PD on scene at 12:48. They say when they arrived to the YouTube campus on Cherry Avenue here in San Bruno, there was one person with a gunshot wound who was standing laying down in front of a door. They found a second body. They believe it's the shooter, a female with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And then moments later, they found 2 other people with gunshot wounds. Those people have all been transported. They believe that the shooter in this case was a female and that she did, in fact, kill herself. But they are still doing a floor-by-floor search, a secondary search here at YouTube to see exactly if there is perhaps a second shooter. We've heard reports of that. The police chief was not able to confirm that. He says they are being very cautious and going very slowly to make sure everything is taken care of out here. And
all right, Andrea Borba live for us at YouTube headquarters. Obviously going to be able to talk to hopefully some more people that were inside that area. Terrifying stories for the 1,700 people who worked in that building. Andrea said that some of them thought it sounded like balloons popping. Others knew right away that it was a shooter, and that is unfortunately the climate that we're in at this point, with the number of mass shootings going on across the U.S. recently. So at this point, that search continues as we take a wider view right now from Chopper 5 of this YouTube campus in San Bruno. It is a largely industrial area there with a lot of offices, but on the outside, as you could just see, a lot of residential areas, a lot of homes in that area. So the streets are shut down. A lot of law enforcement there, federal agencies, the ATF there as well, can continue this investigation.
And as you mentioned, several employees in that area. It's terrifying to hear those shots fired, being escorted out of their place of work. Let's listen in now to what some of the witnesses have described this as being.
I didn't hear any shots. I think that the shots were fired while I was still in the building. I work sort of like in the midsection of the building, so if shots were fired, I wouldn't have heard it.
And you said it's a big guy carrying an assault weapon?
No, I think somebody else said that he had a pistol. I'm not sure.
So you never...
I never saw the gun. I can't confirm anything about the weapon that he had. All I can confirm is that somebody appeared to have a bullet wound on his stomach, and he was laying on the outside courtyard, and he wasn't moving.
What kind of security does YouTube have?
Right, and just to clarify, the information that we have right now is a little bit different from what he just mentioned. Of course, he's dealing with this in the heat of the moment. The police chief, though, did say that there was a female who ended up dead from a gunshot wound, a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and then 3 victims, people that were also shot in that area. And not confirmed,
we are going to look into other, so that is actually from CBS News. And yeah, so it looks like my phone died. It looks like after it's still moving. It looks like after the is go it looks like the shooter killed him herself.
And of the 3 people that were shot, were taken to San Francisco General Hospital. One is in critical condition, one is in serious condition, and one's condition is unknown right now. But as far as we understand, 4 people shot this afternoon at YouTube headquarters. But yeah, Netta mentioned the search ongoing, which the chief, Ed Barberini, described as a monumental task as they try to clear that building and make sure that there is no more present danger. As for the people that were taken away, well, here's one. This is one of many videos that have been posted on Snapchat. This woman posting after self-evacuating. And we're not able to hear her voice right now, but you're looking at some of the other videos that we've seen coming in. As for the people, as I was saying, that were evacuated here from the building, they are being put into groups, patted down to make sure that they don't have any weapons on them. And then at that point, law enforcement deciding if they were somewhere where they're going to have some viable information in this investigation. So those people will then be separated and interviewed as part of this investigation, but we're talking about a massive amount of